Fact is often scarier than fiction. No, that's not just a comment on the current state of the world when watching the news, but also inspired by the latest release from James Tynion IV and Michael Avon Oeming, Redbook #1. A spin-off from their Blue Book series, this too looks to recount real-life encounters with extraterrestrials, but specific instances that occurred in Mother Russia. How'd it go? Let's take a look. It's a small miracle a comic like this even exists. Docu-comics are common in graphic novel form, but rarely do you find anything non-fiction released in the issue format. But reading a series like this, I get a very similar feeling that I did when watching Unsolved Mysteries back in the day. And perhaps if you play the theme while reading, the eeriness will be turned up to 11. What works best about this issue and the previous series is that it doesn't over-dramatize these events that it's covering. There are a number of key stories, including mysterious death of hikers in the Russian wilderness and strange underwater encounters, and each is treated with the Joe Friday-like approach when it comes to sticking to the facts of the case. So how does it avoid being dull and boring? First, these cases are all fascinating and ones I've never heard of personally, but also Michael Avon Oeming does a wonderful job of giving life to these stories and even including a number of inventive sequences that allow for far more interpretation than the words on the page. For example, a sequence where filing cabinets dominate the page like massive skyscrapers as people are lost in a maze of information trying to find the details that have been buried and locked away. Staying true to the title, the color scheme here adds a new color compared to Blue Book, as red is used in very effective ways, especially as an accent color. Not only does it tie into the history being covered here, but it also works to amp up the tension in some of the more serious moments, furthering the proof that sometimes limiting the tools that you use can greatly benefit you in the long run. Redbook #1 is a type of comics that even non-comic fans can get a lot out of. If you have any interest in learning about UFOs, the Cold War history in general, there's a lot to take from this. And even if you're not interested in those subjects or don't normally read about them, it is presented in a way that may change that. And if you end up enjoying this, you can go back and check out Blue Book for a very similar experience.